Some time ago, a barrister called me on the phone, just like, people of higher intellects normally call me on phone to ask me questions after they watch some of my videos. So this barrister called me on the phone and he asked me a series of questions, which I answered. But unfortunately, our conversation ended when he asked this last question. Now, the question was, am I not supposed to give some accolades, yeah, to the missionaries, the people that, brought us Christianity for some of the things that they did? Of course, you know that the first ship that came to Africa happens to be Jesus of Lubeck, which actually was sailed by slave merchants disguised as missionaries. Now, some of the things that he mentioned that they did was, how Mary Slessor stopped the killing of twins, how they built hospitals, they built schools, and they built churches. Churches where our ancestors were now attending. They were no longer making sacrifices to gods. And my answer was no. The first hospital in Anibo was built by the missionaries, the CMS, which happens to be the Anglican Church of today, in 1907, the ENU Hospital. Meanwhile, transatlantic slave trade, which involved the transportation by slave traders of enslaved African people, mainly to Americas, was done between the 16th century to 19th century. That is approximately 400 years. Now, why these people built us hospital in 1907? There are a lot of things that happened before then. The list of the things that happened before then is alligator bait, which they deny to today. Alligator bait may not actually be done by a whole lot of people. Maybe a few people. Bonde melia. Alligator bait is actually the time a na-eji nwa ndị ojii, nya nwatakịrị nwa ndị ojii, nwa ụmụazị kapelompe o nwa akamụlọfụ, ha gbalịa ha atọgbọ iji wee chụ nta agụ iyi. Yeah? Now, this is what they have to say about it. Like I said, onwelike, oboda nobro so many people be hemelia, just few people, man ome, even though that they are denying it. Now, this is what they say about alligator bait. Alligator bait was common trope in American popular culture in the 19th and 20th century. The motive was present in a wide array of media, including newspaper reports, songs, music, and visual acts. There is an urban legend claiming that black children or infants were in fact used as bait to lure alligators, although there is no meaningful evidence that children of any race were ever used for that purpose. Now, another thing that happened was the Timberland. Oge fa na-abụ fa weta ndị ojii amabunye ha na osisi timba. You understand? Ọ bụrụ na ndị ojii onye dị stubborn ọ na onwe onye ha si wee chọọ ịgbapụ, ha amabunye ha n'osisi timba, mụọ onye ahụ ụdọ kobia n'osisi timba, so that ọ bụrụ na ndị ọzọ fịa ka egwu baa ha arụ. You understand? The things that if they are plotting to escape, ha fụkwara na ndị nke anwa amanyasị na timber tree, egwu abaa ha arụ. What did they call it? They call it hooks. No buru eziokwu, no mirror. They denied that one as well. Another one, in fact, there were a lot of ihe ọjọọ ha megasi during that time. Do you understand? Ma iwere amụ tinye ndị nna nna anyị n'ike, ọ bụ na enwere rebellious male slave, ewere amụ etinye ya n'ike azị nke adọwa anyị ike in front of ụmụ ya na ndị bi ya. Ihe anụnwa bụ ka e wee weda ya n'anị, a kind of like humiliation, e wee subdue ya, ka e wee suppress ya wee tinye ndị ọzọ egwu na-arụ. So many other things happen, and they called all those things hooks. They deny all these things that happened. But anyway, there are still the ones that were clearly documented. One of those ones are documented clearly was Igbo landing. Igbo landing of 1803. That is, these people, they built the first hospital for us in 1907, which I'm not denying. Meanwhile, 104 years before then, that is in 1803, the Igbo landing, which is a historical site in Dover Creek on St. Simon's Island, was a setting of mass suicide by captive Igbo people who had taken control of their slave ship and refused to submit to slavery in the United Snakes. Now, when our people start telling me of what these people did, how they did this and how they did that, I would just be like wondering. Meanwhile, the 13th Amendment, which happened in 1863, which is the time Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring all persons held as slaves in the United States should be set free. Now, 100 years later, that is after this proclamation was made by Abraham Lincoln, in March 1963, approximately 100 years later, Martin Luther King marched with other slaves advocating for civil and economic rights for African Americans. They set up a hospital for us in 1907. Meanwhile, the black people in America still have to march for civil and economic rights, the right to work, the right to earn money. People that you brought from different countries, and they have been in your country for so many years. People that can no longer trace their roots back home. You are now denigrating them. You don't want them to do anything. Even though that Nunu abolish slavery. 1963, they still have to march to advocate for their right to exist as human beings. Now our people claim that no lies because of these things that they mentioned. Meanwhile, the oldest hospital, which happens to be leprosy hospital in Japan, was established by the Roman Catholic priest, Leja, of the Parish Foreign Mission Society in 1889. Today, according to the government of Japan, 69% of Japanese population practices Shinto, 66.7% practices Buddhism, 1.5%, which are majorly foreigners, practice Christianity, while 6.2% practice other religion. This is Japan, that their first hospital was actually built by a Roman Catholic priest. It did not make them to this. Now that see that now these are the people that build this one and build that one for them. They took the only thing that makes sense, and they understand that the image you worship is actually something that is superior than you. It is actually something that you will always reverence and adore. It is something that you always see as supreme, something that you always respect above every other thing. So they rather worship something that looks like them. They rather worship their ancestor. If you see their God is in Japanese features. Now let's go down to what they put online about this Mary Slessor of a woman. Even though to me and to so many people that have sense, Mary Slessor stopping the killing of twins in Igbo land is as ferocious as Mungo Park discovering River Niger. Let me tell you what they documented about Mary Slessor, because according to their documentation, Mary Slessor never neared Igbo land. Now this is what they said. They said the killing of twins was a cultural practice among some ethnic groups in Nigeria, predominantly among SYZ people. I said SYZ people because I wouldn't be the one to make you people to start stereotyping against a tribe, because that is actually what we do in Nigeria. Giving birth to twins was considered a bad omen that could bring devastation or calamity upon society. Now, these same people that they said that they were actually the ones that were buying twins, they actually stopped buying twins, yeah, but they did not stop that practice of sacrificing to a particular deity till today. Some time ago, I was somewhere I was making my hair, and this girl from the same place was not telling us of this their festival where they have to bring a stranger. You understand? And they will be dancing. After dancing, they will use a very sharp knife. Therefore, the stranger will know. And when she was saying it with so much excitement, like she had witnessed it. It's nothing to her. And everybody was looking at her. Then we asked her a question, like, why are you people still practicing something like this to this day? What is the government doing about it? Is there no attempt by the government to stop it? And he said that the government is actually not doing anything about it. That is their culture. It is their tradition. It is their tradition, just like some other people in this part of the world are still doing Oro. Now, if this community is named Oro, they know born you well, but outside from so time to so time, because they say that no ganwaka their deity they move. Do you understand? Now their deity na kwali oga. And obo ni nolu ni lo that time, ihe obo ni fuli weli sigibulu. Obo ni mara na enwelu Oro. According to their claim, first of all, their deity bụ onye na-egbu onye will disappear, the person will not be seen again. Onwegi ihe government email about this? No. The same people that are practicing Oro, have you ever seen them come online to bash it and say that that the thing Adiroma, just like we are bashing every other thing? Bonkani. They don't. Hawelia as their festival, the Hawelia as their culture, and they are doing it today. I cannot applaud nonsense. You see all those things that you people are mentioning that these people did. After Kahag was Laiba, for hundreds of years. If I melody ka ebe dị mkpa mmadụ nwoke bịa kpọrọ nwatakịrị obele nwa ọbọdị teenager na obele nwa laa anya lakasị anya ike. Now after the child nọ in pains na-ebe akwa na-atụ olu n'ili alịdị because arụ na-afịa ụfụ. Dị mkpa mmadụ ejeje goteli ya biskit welu biskit nye ya si ebezi na akwa na gị mechie ọnụ. That is actually what they did to us. So I can never in this my life applaud nonsense. Unu nwa bụ ndị ụka. You people can go ahead and be applauding anything. Unu gụkwara any nonsense unu ebinye ebuli ya n'isi na applaud ya. Adị m eje ụka sa adị m akakwu akakwu. Amalugo m ihe, and my brain is actually very activated. I make research. Now, for some of you that will ask this question, yeah, you mentioned Abraham Lincoln, abolishing slavery in America. Well, after he abolished slavery in America, the which people were actually picking cottons. All those things the Africans in Melofa, in the continue maybe. That is the question you should ask yourself. And why did the African Americans have to march after 100 years again for rights to exist as human beings? Now, let me tell you something. The reason why they abolished slavery is not because all of a sudden they started seeing us as human beings that deserve the right to live and exist as human. That is not the reason. The reason they abolished slavery is because of the invention of technology. Yes, the invention of technology. That is why they abolished slavery. Because now people have started inventing different technology, that machine that does the work faster and in limited time. That is short period of time. Chain now appear hotally and now from morning till night, machine can even do it faster. Onye ọ bụ ihe mere ha ji wee abolish slave. They did not abolish slavery because ha nechasịrị gị anya si that na ị bụ a human being, that you deserve to be treated as a human being. Ndị ọcha lụrụ gị those things that you people are mentioning because na ha afụka gị n'anya. Ihe ha ji wee lụọ ọrụ na is as a compensation to alụ ha mee gị. Think or sink.